The fashion police came last night. I'm not sure I can make music of this. But it's true. And I was supposed to be Muttonfist the minstrel for the world, telling stories about you. But lately all I seem to do is be dealing with neighbors. See an analogy to the world. The world's exploding, you know, and all I've got to talk about is this. How interesting is that? That the personal is what takes my attention from the national, the international, the global. So I'm going to try to tell the story in a kind of a sing-songy talking blues way. Because I don't feel like my side is getting out, because I feel like I'm under siege. Because the lady and I feel like if we just walk outside the door, consequences, negative consequences will happen. And because Inheritance Boy, the one next door neighbor guy that is so controlled that I can hardly believe that he actually thinks it's right to slander. What am I going to call him? Sea-Boy. And on the other side, surrounded one side and the other by fun folks that I described already somewhat in the ordinance, thousands and thousands of miles to come home to fix stuff section of this website. So I talked for 4 hours with Sea-Boy. In an honorable way, I thought, about how it would be difficult for me to stop wearing a robe, in spite of neighborhood pressure, because, you know, I work in a robe and frankly, I'm fat and stuff falls off me, and it's more comfortable to have something flowing. And they said, well, you know, we could see you. We could see you, maybe. And I said, now tell me if you did. Give me a specific. Well, no, it's just possible. We know it's possible. Do you wear underwear under that red robe? Do you wear underwear under that red robe? And I said, the fact that you have to ask me means you don't see anything untoward. And I should be able to go on the street where my lady lives to walk the dog in my robe. And I said, this is a touchy one, because I actually work in my robe. I actually do stuff all the time in my robe. So making me put on stuff just to go outside the door on property that's owned by a sympathetic lady seems overly controlling of you, my neighbors, or you, my neighbor. So talk to me about other grievances you might have. I'd be glad to speak about it, you know, because I want neighbors happy. But the robe is an important thing to me. Not being told what to wear. If I were wearing a bikini, I think if I liked wearing bikinis, you'd have no right to tell me not to. But last night, some really bad nightmares came true. Came true. Came true. Came true. And the fashion police, for real, in guise of police, the fashion police made it here. With arrest authority, hunting for perverts and degenerates. They sent 2 female police officers. I'll take this. And what they send them to? To deal with me. Now the butt boy of the Pink Flamingo lady been in trouble since he came. That's when a lot of this started. And if you recall, I gave him a cheap guitar for free because he said he wanted to start to learn how to play. And then when he said he wanted to buy another guitar with a rounded back, I said, you know, that isn't the best in the world. You say you want the best in the world? When you actually do buy a guitar, then yeah, let me show you, you know, what better quality is. And he fell in love with that guitar, that one guitar that I had waited 12 years to find, you know, and be able to afford. He fell in love, and I said, okay, fine, neighborly I am. I'll give it to you for what I have in it, which meant that, you know, like it was on sale when I bought it, and it was a really cheap price, and that's the only way I could actually afford it, because, you know, I'm lowly on the financial ladder. So I'm trying to tell this story as an analogy to all the stuff that's going on in the world, exploding, the neighborly wrongness that I perceive, you know, part of what I see as an analogy. Because I'm the one under siege. I'm the one who feels surrounded by neighbors. And anyway, so C-Boy, he told me that, yeah, you know, the robe is a perfect discussion because it, you know, for every bunch of people who don't tell you about it, there probably are, you know, a whole bunch of them that are bothered by it. And I said, like who? Have you been talking about it? Isn't that gossip? And he said, well, no, we haven't been talking about it. I just assume it. So you're letting your perceptions, that could be for me, you know, that could be for me. Ah. Interesting stuff, huh? You're letting your perceptions taint what you think about the world. You're letting your perceptions taint what you think about the world, and you're telling me that I need to adjust my clothing choices based on your sense of etiquette and propriety. And to get this story out, I know the music will be only a tiny little part of my presentation, but I feel under siege. I really do. So does my lady who owns this place. I've been keeping her safe from seeing what's going on, but last night, when the fashion police came, she came out to help, and so she saw the lengths to which Seaboy's lady wife would go to injure someone that she didn't like, including slander, you know. I continued. The fashion police came last night. So I thought things were settled down. It was around, I don't know, 10:30 or something, and the dog was asking me to come play with the frisbee. Come here, honey. Come here. Yeah. We played with the little flying disc, didn't we? Yeah. Come here. Get up. Up. Yeah. We played with the flying disc, didn't we? Okay. So, because I was trying to not bother the neighbors, we didn't play across their yard or anything like that. I went into the street in my red robe. Past those guys who had been not talking to me, past butt boys, romantic hand holder. She came out outside her door with her robe on, and I was like, oh wow, you empathize, you understand that, you know, it'd be a better neighborhood, it'd be a nicer place if we didn't feel like we'd have to put something on just to go outside the door. And so I said, oh hi, and I don't know, maybe the way I said it in a warm and nice way bothered them, and they of course didn't say anything back. They haven't been saying anything except to let me know that someone had broken into their truck, but subsequent information wasn't, so I guess they were just checking me out to see my reaction to them saying that they had booby traps, and I told them it's a felony to have booby traps. Don't get yourself. Speaking of which, so they called the police again, and the story, everything they tell, their words, talk to me, their actions, what I see, talk to me about criminal activity that they are participating in. Them. Before they knew that I was a teetotaler, they offered me what appeared to be marijuana. And I said no, and gosh, what are you doing on your front porch smoking that stuff? But, we were in the middle of friendly talk about how nice it was for me to have given him a guitar. So I tried to ignore and be neighborly about the substance being smoked, consumed, that made him look kind of glazy-eyed. Of course, I didn't smell it, I don't know. And when I asked, little romance girl, little romance nut, my little romance nut, not my lady, the romance nut lady, when I asked her, what kind of stuff would you, if you had complained, what would you want done? What would you imagine people would be saying about what was needed with this place? And she said, I cannot friggin' stand the plywood, the wood that's, like visible. So I replaced the wood and painted it, green. And when I was getting up high enough so that the possibility of stuff splattering on their car was real. I asked her if she would move the cars so that they didn't get splattered with paint. The paint she'd asked me to put on, don't you know? And she said, we don't have to move the cars. I said, no, but if you could, that would make it a little easier on me, you know, be neighborly, and, you know, I wouldn't have to put up some kind of weird sheet in the 3 feet you've left me to work in, since you put up a fence some years ago. So they called the police on me for threatening their cars. Now it seems to me that's a slander. Seemed that way to the cop too. I think he was like trying to make sure I hadn't done anything more than ask that, and since I hadn't, he left. So when I was asking about, you know, what kind of stuff, you know, bothered them about the outside of the house that I was fixing, a little romance girl said, you know, those pink flamingos are really a bother to me. In a hurricane, they could come flying at me or at my window. The pink flamingos that are up in the tree, making me want to do a pink flamingo tree of thousands of pink flamingos tied into the trees, tied into the tree by metal. You know, if they're come flying during a hurricane, you got more problems than, you know, flamingos coming through your window. But safety has become such a wonderful way to control the actions of people who are trying to be free. See, here comes some of that analogy, right? And some facts, and some facts, and some facts, and some facts, and some facts. So I asked, you know, like, what, you know, did you guys call on me? You know, to tell me we're talking, we're friendly. This was early on. Call on the house that I have to fix. Let me put it that way. And they said, well, we did a year ago. She said, yeah, we had some friends over and they were in the backyard and we threw a brick over the fence that we had built, a brick over the fence we had built, and don't you know, from, you know, over onto your property we threw a brick, and there came back some scurrying cockroaches, some of these water bugs, you know. And the illegal activity described was throwing the brick, you know, it was a trespass. It was something malicious, wasn't it? I mean, who knew if I was there listening to their party, you know, behind the fence? It was a trespass by a brick, not water, you know, not something a little bit, you know, like possibly, you know, like a variant of, you know, being neighborly. And I thought about that. Now, why did the cockroaches gather in the backyard? Oh, because they were talking to my lady about the schedule for cockroach extermination, the monthly thing that they were doing, that I was informed that they were doing then, just then, when she talked about how she was allergic to cockroach feces. How do you know that? Oh, and many other things. And monthly, she and the new neighbors, Seaboy, who was just doing a lot of building, would bomb their places without warning us. You know, if you've lived in a New York apartment, you know that you got to bomb all of it at once, you know, if it gets bombed. They just move away, and you know, I guess they had moved, you know, into our backyard that day. Maybe because she had decided to spray, because she had guests coming over, you know. So she sent the cockroaches toward the yard, did the illegal thing of throwing a brick to trespass, and then complained to the police that there were cockroaches coming from the yard. You see where this is going. So when I was asking for either payment for that beautiful guitar or the guitar back, because I'd said, keep it for a couple of days, and a month went away, and I was about to go away for thousands and thousands of miles, don't you know? So he kind of forcefully brought the expensive guitar out, and then kind of like threw the one I'd given him, the cheap one, at me, and said I wasn't going to buy it anyway, the expensive one, and I don't need this either. And I guess at that point, me and my robe, having two instruments, forcefully pushed at me, maybe, now I don't know, they said this, because this is the only time that particular friend was there. Supposedly, maybe they saw my stuff, and I said, that's impossible, and I can tell you why it's impossible, but it's just interesting that you seem to want to say you saw my stuff, that the three of you saw my stuff. I took it to be an impossibility, but even if it did happen, wouldn't it have been an assault? Sort of like saying, wow, your pants ripped when we beat you up, so you're exposing yourself. Is the way I look at it. So we're telling all the neighbors that you exposed yourself. Oh. So that gets, C boys, a little bit, off the chart lady, thinking, oh my gosh. So we had the long 4-hour talk about how the next thing that they were going to control, after cutting down the trees, because the beautiful flower that grows like ivy and blooms once a year was climbing up the trees, and she didn't want up the trees, so she took down the trees. No ivy up the trees, we take down the trees. Again, analogies fly out my butt today. Which may or may not be a underwear wearing butt, but is a fat butt, and the anatomy of a fat person is such that certain underwear kind of like slips and falls off because there's no place to really hang it. Enough said. And why can't I be comfortable? So Dog and I went down the road trying really hard not to bother anyone around 10:30 in the friggin' evening, and no one was out there except for those two, and I guess they watched as we played, and the dog got tired and started walking back, and the guy said, why don't you, and this may not be a direct quote, why don't you act like a civilized human being and not wear indecent things like that robe? Why are you wearing that robe? If you continue to wear that robe, we're going to call the police. Again, not exactly perfectly clear on the exact order of events, but pretty close to that happening. And he said, fuck you. You don't have any right to tell me what to wear. You know, you try to get your way with the ordinances and didn't get what you wanted there, maybe. Or maybe you just, you know, continually want to waste my time from doing the important work of, you know, saving the world from minstrelry, you know. But back to the analogy. Last night, I said, fuck you. You can't tell me what to wear. And they said, well, if you wear the robe again, we'll call the police. And I said, call the police. Please call the police. So they did. And I heard him on the phone saying, there's a man out here not wearing clothes. And so I said loudly, are you kidding me? I've got a robe on. But not wearing clothes is very different than not wearing the clothes we think he should be wearing. So they sent police, 2 women officers, raring for pervert, arrestature, restraint, and identification. Who is this person not wearing clothes? And she had taken a video of me outside waiting for the police in the robe saying that's the not wearing clothes. And the cops like, what do you mean he's not wearing clothes? But they talked to me, put my hands on the hood of the car, not them, for false reporting stuff, you know. So they put my hands in an embarrassing way, you know, on the hood of the car, like it was my day to go to jail. And they said, you ever been to jail, you know? And so technically it was an arrest. It was an arrest. It was a restraint. It was technically an arrest when the officer said, put your hands on the hood of the car. And we've got tape of this, I'm sure. It's a, you know, it's a training tape in how to handle perverts who wear robes in public. So, not wanting the dog to be involved in the dispute, I put the dog in and went. Saw that when I had yelled, "Fuck you," you know, that the neighbors, the other next door neighbors, Seaboys, had come out and were sitting to watch the show on their porch. And I said, do you have a number for the police so I can call them and tell them I'm not out here with no clothes on? Could they please come and see what I really do have on? It's a robe and it's covering me completely. And they said, yeah, but you could be flashing with it. Huh? It's possible for you to flash with it. I said, did you ever see me? Knowing it was impossible. Well, when you bend over, you expose yourself, you know, to pick something up. I said, did that ever happen? Did you ever see anything? Tell me you did. And they didn't, they wouldn't. They were like just imagining that this could happen, I suppose. Because it would embarrass me if it were true. Of course, it can't be, and that's a little secret as to why, but let me tell you that the rainbow flag outside has something to do with it, I'm sure. And, you know, me not being Republican in a Republican neighborhood maybe does too. Who knows? It's getting close to the election. Are there any neighbors messing with you to distract you from, you know, the world situation? Romney and Obama and nation. The torture kings want to come back into power and rule like a monarchy. And the imperial presidency of kill terrorists with drones. Something I never thought to ethically, you know, wonder about. Arab Spring. And being surrounded by neighbors that trying to get you to do things. So the police said, and I had put on, because I told the 911 operator that I was coming to the police station to show them what I was wearing, so that the report of me not wearing anything would be, you know, at least have another side to the story. So I'm more comfortable, you know, on the street where I live, wearing the robe. But I had, you know, had put pants on, and I was heading out, and there come 2 police cars with 2 female officers to handle me. And I told them, you know, I don't see any reason why these people, you know, are harassing me. Except maybe that I'm poor and not Republican. And not a believer in torture. Or murder without trial. Or social assassination without a chance for me to voice things. So when they weren't looking like they were going to arrest me, heard my side of the story, that I had just walked the dog. And after they'd, you know, informed me that if they got another call ever about a robe, a red robe, that they'd come and put me in jail. You know? After that little, so then they saw that you know, that maybe the cops wanted their side of the story. They hadn't put me in the car yet, you know, so what's going on? We called the cops on this guy, you know, maybe he should die or something, you know. So I watched, you know, for many minutes them telling all the stories of the, you know, of their side of the guitar assault. How that made me, you know, a potentially perverted person. Another one of the things that, you know, that's illegal that they do is they let their dogs out like that to bark. Of course, I don't want to call on, you know, the brandishing of weapons, the incessant barking of the dogs, the smoking of the marijuana. That's not my style to, like, mess with people. Anyway, so they somehow the 2 cops split up and got to talking with the two ladies on the opposite sides of my lady's house. And this lady says, you know, that the thing that bothers her is that I could potentially be a pervert, a exposee. That there weren't any real times when it actually had happened, because, like I said, it's impossible. And there were was no real descriptions of what they meant by show your junk. Is that like a plumber little ass crack thing? Who knows? Junk. Junk is junk, right? So, you know, trying to get things right, the police person said, you know, whenever you go out, you put on a t-shirt. Just do that, just put on a t-shirt. Because if I hear about this robe ever again, I'm going to come to arrest you. I said, I'm the one that's, you know, like, trying to be neighborly. You'll be hearing from them again, I'm sure, about some other thing. Just as silly. Just as not illegal, you know? You know, we're building a repertoire of silliness here. Anyway, so see girl's, see boy's wife. After the cops, oh yeah, the story goes on, the story goes on. I've got my hands on the hood of the car, you know, that means detained, that means actually arrested, that means they're looking for anything they can, you know. Have you ever been arrested? Well, I used to be a bad boy, you know, but it's been some time since I was a boy. They're looking for things. I've seen them do it before. They're looking for things to slam that door behind me and take me in as a prevert, a bane on society. Do you drink? Have you ever been arrested for public intoxication? Excuse me? I'm a teetotaler. What is that? Are you taking any medication now? Yes, I am. Vicodin. Oh, really? Yeah. Got my tooth extracted today. So maybe, you know, being in pain and not exactly above the weather was part of why I had to say, fuck you. You don't have any right to tell me what to do. Not if it's not illegal. Like all your stuff seems to be. And then I said a few magic words and they said, go inside. Because the tall policewoman had talked to see boy's wife and realized, oh my gosh, all the stuff they're talking about him doing is like irritating them, but not illegal. She spent a lot of time talking about how I put the trailer close to where they were building the fence. Of course, their side of it doesn't include the fact that I was under a deadline to get an enormous amount of work done in like less than 3 weeks on the house that they or their neighbors had called them, you know. And I think it became obvious that it was the potential, you know, the clothing potential for a wardrobe malfunction that was bothering them, not actual malfunctions, you know, not things that they could cite or the police could make right. So the tall one told the other one who was fixing to put the cuffs on me, I could see, to back off, you know, those magic words. And a little bit of insanity on the other people's part, a little bit of understandinglessness. my lady's standing out there in a robe, taking all this in, and now she feels even more under siege. Yeah, you know, I'm amused by all this, but she gets hurt. You want to hurt her? Is that your goal? To hurt her? She really wants neighbors. She really believed C-Boy's lady was neighborly, friendly, and real. She saw how, you know, controlling she was, how she was, you know, nasty to her husband, but she was willing to ignore that because, you know, friendship bloomed. The possibility of a neighbor that you could talk to. So now she feels under siege. And I'm just, you know, thinking about the analogy to control of your neighbors for things that really don't matter even a little bit. So the fashion police came last night, for real. They said I would go to jail if I wear my red robe anywhere where it can be seen by my bothersome neighbors, who seem to be looking for anything to call the police on, no matter how silly or stupid or fruitless their efforts be. And it does amuse me. And hurt some too. Because I was told by the police, we don't care if you want to be neighborly. Don't talk to them. Communicate through us. Become like them, using intermediaries with guns to run the street with no one in a robe and bare feet. No comfort clothing for the fashion police. But I am still a little bit amused. Oh, look, my junk. Stories to tell. never interrupting years. And if anyone knew, they'd leave me alone. 'Cause my stuff is my home, is my identity, is my stuff, is me. Nothing to do with their business, and nothing they could ever see. So it's my stuff, it's mine. They say they spotted something with their eyes. It was my stuff, and my stuff alone. Wow, well, stuff, right? Oh, and I'm not supposed to go on their property, as if I ever do. Is that like a restraint for them from going on our property too? No, we're just worried about you, telling you things to do. We're the fashion police. We've got you restrained. That is to say, with your hands on the foot of our car. I know enough about the law to know that technically is arrest. Used for embarrassment, humiliation. I'm going to arrest you. This is all on tape, I hope. I'm going to arrest you if you don't let me talk. That's what she said. Let me finish my statement. I'll let you finish yours. Wow. I think I'm a little excited. Being told. Not by you. Sea boy, girl, romantic, wonder, her butt boy, and you. Finally.